He offers her his hand, telling her to come here. She promised she would help him. A breathtakingly beautiful man reached out his hand to her and said come closer so he can touch her. Rose knows she absolutely must not fall for this man but finds herself contemplating holding his hand this time. He smirks when she asks if he really wants to only hold her hand. Screams internally, knowing that wouldn't be the case, but getting any closer to him would be a disaster. Because he's the protagonist of this world and she is the sister of the villainous master of the magic tower. Sadness crosses her features as she wonders how could she possibly tell him that. He exclaims he's so glad that he's not the only one who has fallen for her. When she flinches in surprise, he asks her if she still doesn't know how he feels. She blinks, thinking if he really meant everything he said. Recalling earlier he had confessed he was so happy, he really liked her. All those nights they spent together. And every word he whispered to her. She thought he was just caught up in the moment. He crosses his arms and grumbles he's not the kind of man who says I like you to someone he only sees as a one-night stand. She questions then is he saying this isn't something? His face darkens as he repeats just some fling. The atmosphere grows tense and she flinches as he fixes her with a piercing look. She looks like a scared rabbit as a chill runs down her spine. But then he lets out a deep sigh. He tells her their relationship once it has begun, there is no turning back. With a gentle pull, he draws her close, his smile effortlessly charming. Hair as soft as moonlight, eyes as clear and bright as the finest emeralds. A man as beautiful as a god looks down at her, his gaze full of adoration. He pulls her into his arms and declares from now on she will be the one to hold him, whispering in her ear and he will only ever be held by her. So from now on, she will only kiss him. Flustered, she blurts out wait but he only tells her to touch him as much as she desires. She looks at him for a bit and then says yes. He starts to caress her cheek before leaning in to kiss her. As she surrendered everything to him, she wondered how it all came to this. She was a character in the novel. The Duke's one and only. A forgotten insignificant side character who was reincarnated here. 20 years ago. She didn't know any of this from the start. Not the fact that she had been reincarnated into a novel. Or that as the villain's sister. She was destined to be killed by the male lead because of her brother's crimes. So why of all those things, she was remembering this now. The little child thought this couldn't be happening. It was impossible. She could die any day now. She looked up at her brother, who stood before her, thinking it was all because of her brother, the future villain. Her brother asked her what was wrong. She wondered what did he expect a 3-year-old to even say. She was creeped out, but she had to pretend to smile. With the flick of his magic, the snake toy floated through the air before landing gently in her hands. She thinks, as expected of the story's top villain, what a terrifying talent. He is using gravity distortion magic this easily and he is only 7. This villain brother, 4 years older than her, will one day become the youngest tower master in history. Spread chaos across the world and eventually be taken down by the main lead. And next would be Rose's turn. Because she will get dragged down with him. Poor girl thought she was reborn with a silver spoon. Turns out it was just gold-plated. If things follow the original story, it's definitely a dead ending. She wonders how can she survive this. From the novels she read in her past life, like those romance fantasy heroines, should she train the villain to survive? That insane genius villain brother. Her face pales even more when she realizes he's reading magic tomes even scholars struggle with like it's nothing. With a slight tilt of his head, he finally inquires why is she looking at him like that. While she's still trying to figure out how is she supposed to train a sociopath like him. She mutters a curse and resigns herself to a quick death. She throws the snake toy at him, wanting him to just kill her already. The toy hits the floor with a dull thud, and his eyes glint in response. She braces herself, convinced this is it. He's definitely going to kill her. Hopefully quick and painless. But when nothing happens, she cracks one eye open, only to find him standing there, completely unfazed, asking if he wants to learn gravity distortion magic too. She thinks, no, she just dramatically threw a toy in his face. That is all. He sits beside her on the floor and says she really is his sister, that she's got the makings of a genius too. She wonders what kind of delusion he's living in. He picks her up and plops her onto his lap. He opens the book, thinking this might be easy for her if she truly is a genius, while she turns to him with wide eyes, mentally calling him a lunatic and wondering what age he thinks she is. As he begins reading aloud about the basics of mana control needed to manifest the spell, she prepares for confusion, but to her surprise, she can actually read it. For a moment, she wonders if she's really a genius or if this is just some kind of possession buff. He falls silent, then looks at her and says she's a genius, and that's when she realizes he got it too. And so she passed Adrian's first test. He seemed pretty pleased to find out she might be a genius like him. After the 3-year-old reading magic tome incident, he started taking her everywhere to see the world. He even told father he would take charge of her magical education. The father smirked and said Rosnia is eager to learn from him as well. He held her hand and replied of course she loved him, making her think when did she say that? That is totally his imagination. Seeing how close the two are, the father is pleased. And declares then he will leave Rosnia's education in his hands. This wasn't the kind of villain training the poor girl wanted. He simply lifts her up while she mentally curses him. While it has come to this, she will definitely tame him and make him her personal footstool. And so she began living as Adrian's secret, treasured little sister, hidden away in the tower. On a summer day when she turned 20. She planned to run because his crazy sister complex was going to kill her. She wasn't spending this summer locked in the tower again. The door barges open as she steps into his study room and says he was heading south to investigate the morning beasts. She is going with him. The door falls into 2 pieces, making her jump. Ever since she learned strength magic, she got way too strong. She blames it on the deer and tells her brother he should have picked a sturdier one. He questions so she wants to investigate demonic beasts too. Rosnia replies no, she just wants to relax at the villa. She is sick of being stuck in the tower all year. Pointing out he couldn't go last summer either. He says fine, he will take her with him. She offers him a gentle smile, thanking him before saying she loves him. He looks momentarily stunned, his ears turning red, but he recovers quickly and says she's only allowed to stay in the villa, nowhere else. She agrees without hesitation. He then adds that he will assign a summoned beast to guard her in place of any servants, and in that place she had no idea who she would meet. Rosnia watches the ocean with a wide smile stretching across her face. She picks up a shell, turning it in her hands, eyes full of quiet wonder. As dawn breaks, she begins searching for her brother, calling out that she's hungry and that they should eat dinner already. He lowers his book and asks where does she keep leaving her shoes. She replies she forgot. He scoops her up effortlessly and tells her he's made barbecue, so she'd better be patient. She giggles, clinging to him, thinking if this were the original Adrian, he probably would have tossed her aside by now. He is a bit scary, but he hasn't really done anything awful. So she guesses this counts as successful rehabilitation. Tomorrow morning, Adrian will take a ship to complete the Emperor's beast subjugation request. Which means she will have the whole villa to herself. Being without Adrian will be kind of lonely, but then no. She shakes it off. Like hell. It will be freedom. First freedom in ages. The next day, as she steps out to see him off, she tells him to come back safe and take care. He only smirks. She guesses take care sounded funny. He finally says she should be the one who should be careful. She thinks the one and only master of the magic tower towering at the center of the world, Adrian Hill, has no reason to be careful. Every human, beast and animal in this world falls to his gestures and crumples under his feet. She beams as he pats her head, only to let out a whine when he messes up her hair and warns her not to wander around uselessly. She tells him not to worry, the villa is fun enough, why would he go out while inwardly scoffing? As he leaves, she almost jumps in excitement. She has a whole month to herself. But as she walks back into the house, a beast is waiting for her. Adrian summoned a beast to monitor her. She wonders what to do with this sticky pest. She runs her hand over his fur. At this rate, might as well bribe him. Summoned beasts love high-concentration mana orbs. Tastes like sweet cotton candy to them. Mana orbs are easy to make. She holds the item up, eyeing the beast with a teasing smile. She asks if she should give it him, but then says it's precious to give. The beast lets out a soft whimper. Is he seriously a dog? She will give it to him on one condition. From now on, wherever she goes, whatever she does, whoever she meets, he shouldn't report anything to Adrian without letting her prove it first. Then not only this, she will make him mana orbs all summer. In that moment, the beast switched loyalties from one sibling to the other, no shame, no hesitation, after all there were mana orbs involved. She then informs him she is going to the market and offers him to come. At the market, she notices the sky beginning to darken, it looks like it might rain. She definitely can't catch a cold, the freedom was hard won. She spots some jewelry and begins checking it out. Just seeing normal people instead of the usual magic tower lunatics almost brings tears to her eyes. But the clouds thicken and it's clear they need to head back soon. As rain pours down, they both start running, her umbrella barely doing its job until she suddenly stops short, eyes widening at the sight of a man collapsed on the ground. She doesn't approach him at first, wondering if he's some fugitive or criminal. Of all places, he passed out on the Hill's family private estate. He has light hair color and looks tall, maybe around 185 centimeters. She casually walks over, half wondering if she should even bother saving him, and gives him a light kick to roll him over only to gasp when she sees his face. Her cheeks flush instantly. Is that face for real? Beside her, the beast begins growling at the man, clearly not as impressed. Adrian's spirit beast detects humans hostile to its master. Which means he's someone related to Adrian. She turns back to the man. She has definitely seen his face before. And then it clicks, the Imperial Palace banquet held 4 years ago. She watched him just once from afar. He shone bright enough to dazzle. The male lead. Someone who could kill her and her brother. The family's sworn enemy. A widely popular romance fantasy series, the Duke's one and only partner where Sierra, a beautiful commoner with sacred power, meets the Empire's sole Duke, Llewellyn Rashian. And they form a contract-based relationship. A contract first, love later, Harlequin romance. It had such irresistible charm that even tired clichés felt fresh chiefly because of this. Heart-trending desperation as a baseline temptation. He only sees the heroine. Her one and only obsessed lover. So sweet that it kept her awake with butterflies in her stomach. The male lead is a Yandra male lead with maximum possessiveness. He has never even hugged a girl before but pulls off techniques that make the heroine cry with pleasure. In her past life, she was so obsessed with Llewellyn. She probably banged her head on the bed frame and died. The beast pokes the man's cheek while looking like he's touched something unsanitary. Rosnia pushes the thoughts aside and focuses on the present. She cannot bring their sworn enemy into the Hill family led by Adrian, the original's top villain. But he's too hot, so she can't let this gorgeous man die here. She finally picks him up, muttering under her breath, "Thank your face for saving you." Back inside, she manages to get his soaked shirt off, but pauses, staring at the rest. Now what is she supposed to do about the pants? Her gaze unintentionally lingers and she finds herself marveling, is this what a male lead's body is supposed to look like? If she saw him often, she's sure she'd fall hard. He's exactly her type. But then her thoughts shift to his parents, and a new panic hits. How is she supposed to take off those pants herself? Maybe she should just leave the pants and underwear on. But what if he catches a cold? But then she realizes she can undress and dress him with magic. The Duke is too handsome and she is getting overwhelmed, so she decides to just use magic to off the lower half and just dress the top. Once she's done, she glances at him and gasps, "These muscles have serious opinions and the shirt is too short, it looks like a mini dress." She didn't put on the underwear and hopes that is fine. She will take him to the bedroom on the first floor now. As she feeds him the fever medicine, she notices with alarm that his fever has suddenly shot up. Before she can react, he grabs her hand, startling her, and pulls her closer into a tight embrace. Her breath catches as he slowly opens his eyes and mumbles she saved him. She responds softly, saying she just couldn't leave him there. He says that with a storm like that raging outside, he would have surely died if he had stayed, and honestly, his condition isn't much better even now. She stares at him, momentarily distracted, wondering how someone could look this good even while clearly injured. Then he says he wants to know the name of the person who saved his life. A dilemma stirs inside her. Should she tell him the truth? That she is Rosnia Hill? Even if she is, she did save him. Maybe that would make him hate her family a little less. Adrian, after all, has turned into a much milder version now too. If she plays this right, maybe she really can avoid the dead ending. After a beat, she finally blurts it out, she's Rosnia Hill. His arms tighten around her as he whispers he knew it. She asks if he knows her. He replies, how could he not? The one and only little sister of Adrian Hill, the princess of the magic tower. Her cheeks turn red as she looks away, heart pounding out of control. Then he calls her name gently and asks does she know who he is. Normally people address her as Lady Rosnia out of formality. This is the first time a man has called her by name right from the start. Like he's used to saying it, like he says it all the time. Dropping her gaze, she quietly says he is Duke Llewellyn, isn't he? He's so close she cannot even look at him. He mumbles so she does know him. She admits, well, he's just so kind of famous after all. He smiles. She watches as if in a trance. He is seriously beautiful. He points out they have only met once before. She explains he was incredibly handsome and the kind of person one couldn't forget even after seeing just once. His lips curve into a smile, making her nervous. It feels almost like he's trying to seduce her with just that smile. The realization hits her, she really needs to get out of his arms. But before she can move, he pulls her closer into a firm hug. Shocked, she starts to struggle, squirming in his grasp, but then he murmurs, "Rose." She freezes. Did he just use a nickname? When he calls her Rose again, her confusion deepens. Why is he acting so weirdly familiar? Then, in a weak voice, he tells her he's not feeling well, that even breathing is hard. She pauses, her panic shifting. He's really sick. He must be out of it, just tossing out names and nicknames like they mean nothing. This isn't him. Gently, she asks where exactly it hurts, reaching out to check his forehead. It's burning like fire. He groans that his whole body aches, like he's dying. Her eyes widen. No way could it be. She hesitates, then asks if the pain feels like an all-over body ache, like a heavy flu. He replies exactly that. That's when it clicks, this isn't just a fever. It's mana overload. That's why the original novel was titled The Duke's One and Only. That's because the only one who can calm the male lead surging mana was the female lead and only her. But then why the hell is he going into overload in front of her and not the female lead? And in Adrian's bedroom, no less. She wonders what the hell does she do now if the story goes the same way. There's only one way to calm the male lead's mana overload. Physical contact. Starting from something light, like holding him, to something deeper, like a kiss. But why is that happening here with her and not with Sierra like it's supposed to? He calls out to her, voice low and pleading, asking her not to go and to stay with him. When he cups her cheeks and looks straight into her eyes, she realizes how insane this is. She's in serious trouble. Then he starts leaning in, far too close, and panic sparks. The worse this overlord gets, the more control he seems to lose. Being alone with him right now is dangerous. But before she can move, he speaks again, saying he has a favor to ask. And in that instant, she knows she's completely, utterly doomed. "Will you kiss me?" he asks. She has read the original story, so she knows. If she ignores him here, the rampaging magic inside him will kill him. A ridiculously handsome guy like Llewellyn dying like that? No way. Absolutely not. But calming his rampant magic is the heroine's job. And she is just the younger sister of the Tower Master. It would be best if she didn't get involved with the male lead. He pleads with her to kiss him. He will die without her. He pleads with her to kiss him. He will die without her. She asks him what is his condition exactly. Is it hard to bear? He says he feels like he is dying. She realizes his cheeks are on fire. Is he really going to die? But he's supposed to meet the hero and fall in love at first sight and shoot the romance of the century. She grabs his cheeks, fed up with thinking, and tells him they should just kiss for now. His eyes widen in surprise, repeating her words, "Start with a kiss." She confirms just a kiss and he agrees far too easily, like they are not even having the same conversation. Still, she pushes the thought aside and kisses him, despite the major problem that she doesn't even know how to. He parts her lips and kisses her again, more confidently this time, then gently guides her to settle on the bed. She hesitates, asking if they really have to do this, and he answers with a casual "Of course, Ike, it's the most natural thing in the world." It leaves her wondering what exactly he means by that. Is he really suffering from rampant magic? Is he really not fine? The kiss went on for quite a while. And she could feel his magic flowing into her. Since the kiss was supposed to suppress the runaway magic in the first place, she thought they would stop once it settled down. But nowhere does he show signs of stopping. She's pretty sure his magic calmed down a while ago. She calls out to him and he pauses for just a moment, enough to give her hope that he might stop, but before she can even get the words out, he leans in and starts kissing her again, completely ignoring her attempt to speak. She inwardly calls him a dumb dude. What if she ends up being devoured by him at this rate? And what about their stunningly beautiful heroine? Where does this Duke think heroine is, treating her like this instead? He suddenly stops and her eyes widen as she notices the flicker of hurt on his face. She quickly sits up, telling him that's enough, but he pleads softly for more. She hesitates. This man is seriously driving her insane in every possible way. Stealing herself, she tells him this kind of relationship isn't right. He asks why not. She says it's too impulsive. He asks if he stirred up her impulses. She admits maybe she did. His lips curl into a smile. Is that so? He murmurs. Her eyes flick up, surprised by the shift in his tone, and then he says they should just kiss tonight, nothing more, before smiling again. It catches her off guard. Flustered, she blurts out that she's going to sleep now. If she stays a second longer, she knows she might really fall for him. She climbs off the bed, leaving him there alone, like some heartbroken boy. Inwardly, she curses the way he kisses her and then wears that innocent face. Before walking out, she tells him to hurry and get under the blanket, he got caught in the rain and needs to rest. Then she wishes him a tight sleep and shuts the door behind her. In the darkness, his eyes harden. A man asks the Knight Commander if there is still no word from His Excellency, adding, "Isn't it getting too late?" But Bilky reminds him the Excellency said he would be back in about a month, so he should wait patiently. The member of his Knight Order points out the others are getting bored. They cannot proceed without His Excellency. Bilky shoots back the others end up with about 10 broken bones when sparring with him, so maybe he should try to hold back a little. He smirks and says that is why His Excellency is the one who breaks his bones and he likes that. He then states it is certain that he will come back this time with the tower's weakness, right? Is it okay if he gets his hopes up? The commander says that is the official reason at least. Bilky tells him to just go and train. He smiles and cheerfully asks if anyone wants to spar with him. Meanwhile, Rosnia buys a few outfits for Llewellyn. With a lazy stretch, she groans, "What a dramatic day it has been." She figures Llewellyn is likely fast asleep already, her thoughts drifting to the kiss, so she convinces herself it just happened to be a kiss this time. But there won't be a next time. She had more than enough of that with male leads in her past life. She doesn't want to suffer from lovesickness ever again. She decides to take a bath to calm herself down, starting by filling the tub with hot water before grabbing a glass of milk from the kitchen. Wrapped in only a towel, she walks into the bathroom only to freeze when she sees him there. He softly says her name. Her heart skips. Why is he here? Why isn't he asleep? But then she lets out a loud scream, realizing she can see everything down there, and immediately turns to run only for him to pull her back in an instant. He explains he woke up and couldn't fall back asleep, so he decided to wash up and is sorry for using the bathroom without asking. She quickly steps back, blurting out it is fine that he used the bathroom, but did he wash with cold water? He replies yes, he needed to calm himself down a bit. She shuts her eyes, telling him to put on some clothes. Smiling, he says understood and turns to leave, brushing past her but pauses to ask if she needs any help. She quickly whirls around and blurts out a sharp no. Was he seriously planning to help her with a bath or something? The thought makes her question everything. Is he really the main lead? Or just a beast wearing a male lead's mask? Later, she notices him trailing her, which only adds fuel to her irritation. Why is he following her? But when she spins around, he just flashes her a smile. Now she's pretty sure the main lead has gone insane. He must have lost his mind as a side effect of his mana going berserk. The Hill and Rakian families have never gotten along. And yet here she is, a daughter of the Hill family who accidentally picked up the Duke of Rakian. And accidentally calmed his mana outburst. Only for the Duke to lose his mind in the end. She wonders how Rakian will take this story. She really might have to keep the male lead hidden. He appears behind her, thanking her softly, saying he's recovered a great deal thanks to her. She glances back and replies that it's good to hear. But then he steps closer, too close, making her wonder why he keeps shortening the distance between them. Her foot suddenly slips, and as she braces for impact with shut eyes, he catches her just in time and gently asks if she's alright. Her breath hitches. She thinks no, she's not okay at all, and it's all because of him. And just like that, they're kissing again, her heart racing with the realization that this is all because of him. She can't even tell how much time has passed, only that he should have let go by now, yet he still holds her captive. As she keeps kissing him, a single thought burns through her head: she must be out of her mind. There are inter-family tensions to consider. Adrian is probably running wild, and she genuinely feels bad for the heroine, but she still can't bring herself to stop. Then he smiles gently, calls her Rose, and brushes his fingers along her cheek, pointing out that she was the one who kissed him first before pulling her into a firm embrace. Her blood runs cold. What has she just done? She tries to break free, but he doesn't let go. When she finally manages to pull back, she mutters an apology, claiming it was a moment of impulsiveness, and declares it won't happen again. He just smiles and says she felt impulsiveness for him. She stares, thrown off. Why is he laughing? He says it honestly feels rewarding, but then casually shifts the topic, saying it's about time they went to sleep. He asks if he should carry her to her room. She blurts out a quick no, but he only steps closer, gathers a handful of her hair, breathes it in, and tells her to sleep well. The next morning she wakes up early. Who knows what trouble he might cause in the meantime. She rushes down the hallway and finds the beast outside his room, relieved to see he's still asleep. Peeking in, her cheeks flush at the sight of him resting peacefully. She tiptoes closer and calls out his name, gently trying to wake him. But he suddenly pulls her into his arms and lies back down, falling asleep with her caught against his arms. Her eyes widen. What kind of sleeping habits are these? She throws light fists against his back until he finally stirs awake. Sitting up, he mumbles an apology, explaining he was half asleep and thought it was just a dream. She watches him glance around in nervousness. Even that, just glancing around is cute. If only she weren't so easily charmed. Being this cute and handsome should be a crime. Composing herself, she tells him to wash up and have breakfast, adding that she's already laid out fresh clothes for him. He nods with a smile, and she can't help but think, what a sly man. After breakfast, she offers him a smile of her own. Shall they go see the sea together? At the beach, she asks if the meal suited his taste. He replies yes, but actually he was too focused on looking at her so he doesn't really remember how it tasted. He gives her a faint smile, and she finds herself thinking, what the heck? Why does it feel like he's flirting again? She wants to pinch him. Why does he keep smiling so damn prettily? As they stroll along the sea, she wonders if he's just someone who smiles a lot. When she catches him staring intently at something, she asks what he's looking at. In a low voice, he replies those guys keep glancing at her. She turns to see a group of men eyeing her and chatting among themselves. A smile tugs at her lips. Must have been charmed by my face, she thinks. Thank goodness Adrian isn't here right now. If it were her brother, he definitely would have caused a scene saying he would gouge their eyes out. But then, she senses a shift in the air and turns to find Llewellyn watching the men with a sharp glare. The atmosphere stiffens, and the men look genuinely scared. She doesn't even know what's what anymore at this point. Whatever. Might as well enjoy the view and feast her eyes on the male lead's face. He catches her looking at her and asks does she like his face. She exclaims of course she does. Laughing, she thinks who in the world would dislike that face. She then turns to him and asks from his point of view, what does he think of her? She muses she's pretty decent looking herself, but she's curious what this guy with his high standards thinks of her. When he doesn't respond, she starts to think could it be that he cannot answer because her face is not his type. So he's trying to figure out how to dodge the question. But then his steps come to a halt. He turns to her, gently takes her hands, and tells her that to him, she has always been an enchanting presence. She won't understand it, he says, but she's helped him in ways she doesn't realize. When they return to the mansion, he tells her to shower first, he will take care of dinner. She blinks. The Duke, cooking. If anyone heard that, someone might just faint. The original story didn't have the male lead being good at cooking. So how did this happen? Later as she eats the meal he prepared, her face lights up with a bright smile. When he asks if she likes it, she exclaims how delicious it is. He watches her glow with a soft smile of his own, then leans in and presses a kiss to her cheek, catching her off guard. She stares at him, startled. Has he lost it again? But no, his eyes are clear. Then his hand rises to caress her cheek. Still a quiet thought presses at her, maybe it's time to draw a line. Maybe she needs to send him back before her feelings begin to waver. So she asks, carefully, when he plans to return to the house of Rakion. His expression falters, and he asks does she want him to leave? She replies it is not exactly that, it is just that if he is away for too long, but he cuts her off, saying he won't be returning to the Duke's castle. Because he hasn't won her heart as much as he wants to. It occurs to her, why would this man want to win her heart unless he has some other motive? The color drains from her face as a chilling thought slams into her. What if his kindness is because of some other purpose? Her heart pounds as fear crawls up her spine, and she suddenly blurts out that she's not feeling well, quickly adding a polite thank you for the meal. Before he can say a word, she bolts, leaving him behind as she rushes to her room and collapses on the bed, wishing for the night to just end. But then, the beast's voice calls out to her. She thinks maybe he's just hungry for mana balls again, but then her blood runs cold as the voice sharpens, becomes clearer, and it's not the beast. It's Adrian. Adrian informs her he will come back about 10 days from now on, as it won't take as long as they thought. 10 days? That soon? The thought hits her, unsettling, while he tells her not to get into trouble and stay healthy until then. The fear creeps in. What if he finds out about this? Should she secretly contact the duchy behind his back? But he keeps saying he won't go. Does the Duke's retainers even know that their lord is staying with the daughter of their enemy? Her face pales as she realizes this is total chaos. First, she should reply to Adrian. She replies to Adrian that this is faster than she expected and she's so happy she will get to see her brother again soon. She made it so fake and sweet. It's dripping with it, but she guarantees Adrian will love that last lion. Now that she thinks about Llewellyn, she cannot completely trust him. She cannot tell if he's pretending to be crazy or really yes. For now, she is left with no choice but to keep a close eye on him with suspicion. And honestly, she finds it all so unromantic. Later, she stirs awake, wondering if she had dozed off. Why is this bed so hard? As her eyes slowly flutter open, she finds herself lying on top of Llewellyn. He mutters that earlier she pushed him away so harshly, and now here she is, stirring things up again. Confused, she realizes this isn't even her room. And then, in a low voice, he says that from the moment he first saw her, he knew she should have just let him die because now he's never letting her go. Without waiting, he leans in and kisses her. Panic flickers through her. Anyone can see this man, warns her. But why? She calls out to him and says she is curious about something. Is he experienced? The unexpected query catches him off guard, and he hesitates, saying he's not quite sure what she means by that. She clarifies, has he ever been with another woman like that? His expression hardens as he grabs her hand, clearly upset. She flinches, unsure why he's angry, until he asks what she takes him for. She answers honestly, the famously popular Duke. But he surprises her by admitting she's the only one. He's never given himself to anyone else, only her. Embarrassed, she blurts out that she overstepped, but he tells her it's all right. He understands. He just feels uneasy, not knowing where they stand. He's anxious. But to her, it sounds like another nonsense line. Why would a man like him be anxious? She finally asks the one thing she's been holding back. Why was he found collapsed on Hill family land? She's determined to get an answer this time. He only asks if it really matters. She insists it does. But he says it doesn't feel important to him. When she presses, he tells her he simply doesn't remember anything, doesn't know what happened, only that if she hadn't saved him, he might have died. That's why he doesn't want to return to the duchy until he recovers fully. And if there's one thing he's sure of, it's that being near her seems to help. So, would she let him touch her, kiss her and enter inside her? He gently brushes his fingers through her hair. Her eyes flutter open as she softly murmurs, Duke. He tells Rosnia to stay still, then calls her a good girl. As she mentions she's hungry, he offers a soft smile, finding her unbearably cute right before she unexpectedly calls out Adrian's name. He jolts. Adrian is someone closer to Rosnia than he is. He ponders that if he could he'd want to steal every memory of Adrian Hill. He wants to have all of her, from her beginning to her unknown end, her everything. He wants her heart, her soul, every moment of her life. He wishes to have it all. He wonders, when did this desire take root? He realizes it was even before the banquet at the Imperial Palace 4 years ago, in early summer, when the lilacs of the Rysane ducal estate bloomed beautifully. That day at 13, when he attempted to stray on impulse, it was that very day. He had gotten a birthday gift from Count Enrico. He thinks even on this year's birthday, May 25th, she'll probably look at him again with those sad eyes. People say he is a poor child whose parents both died on the day he was born. He felt so sick of it. He doesn't even know what sort of fondness they expect him to have for parents he has never seen. Everyone just thinks he's a sweet, quiet child. He thinks that it's all nonsense. He wished to have one day outside this suffocating routine. He thought no one would blame him anyway, and maybe it was okay to do once in a while. He disguised as a girl and left just a single letter behind and ran away from the ducal estate. That must have been the beginning. He noticed that the train powered by magic stones really was fast. It was Southern Rasian Duchy Ive Station. He realized this place was the region under the control of House Hill, and the mages here weren't a match for him anyway. He was once told that those people probably see him as a valuable experiment sample, being a rare case born with both divine and magical power. They'd want to capture him and take him as a precious test subject. He calls them lunatics and tells himself that he isn't scared of scum from House Hill. He gets attracted to a place smelling a gentle nose fragrance. He thinks that just looking around a little should be fine, shouldn't it? He jumps through the wall and deep down questions what sort of romantic notion could a mage possibly have to prepare such a beautiful villa. He thought maybe it was just a cover and they were scheming inside. As he looked around, his eyes fell on Rosina. He couldn't take his eyes off her and wondered, who is that? Thinking if she could be the daughter the head of House Hill has kept hidden. He steps closer, eyes fixed on her. Realization dawns, it's the Archmage's daughter. His gaze drops to the book on her lap. Is she already studying dark magic? He picks the book and starts to read it, wondering what even is it. It seems to be a recipe book. As he ponders, his vigilance was for naught. She slowly opens her eyes as their eyes meet. She suddenly steps up and starts stretching and then yawns, making her wonder if she really is a noble lady. She then asks him who is he. She asks if he is one of the servants' daughters who followed her this time. She then tells him that he's very pretty, which makes him blush. He starts running away as she calls out to him asking where is he suddenly going. Before her birthday, the early summer escapade ended just like that. Just as arriving at the Lashan Duchy was quick, forgetting that girl who was like a rose was also very easy. He took off his wig and thought it should have been easy. For years and 3 months later he was given an invitation from Her Majesty the Empress. He thought it was a bit troublesome and wondered if she would try to pair him with her younger brother again. The butler asked him if he'd attend the ball. He responded that he supposed so. The butler then stated he'd have them prepare his formal attire. He asked the Duke if he had any instructions. He responded not particularly, just the formal attire should be blue. On the day of the banquet he looked around searching for her as he was aware that Adrian and his sister were attending. Just then, both of them stepped inside, drawing the attention of those around them. As the Duke stared at her he was totally stunned, realizing she was that girl in his memory. The Crown Prince suddenly stepped in and greeted her. He told her that he thought a rose had just entered. The Duke seemed frustrated as they started to dance together. The Crown Prince complimented her. The Duke was burning with jealousy as he thought, why was she revealing it only now when she kept it hidden so well? He couldn't stop thinking, why couldn't she just keep it hidden? He cursed the Crown Prince and wondered if he should just depose him. He then tried to come to his senses and asked himself, what is he even thinking? His eyes turned to Adrian, who was already staring at him with annoyance. It was Adrian Hill, who also looked at his sister and the Crown Prince with possessiveness. The Duke was feeling kinship with Adrian Hill. The Duke wondered if he should gouge out everyone's eyes. Rosnia's eyes noticed the Duke as she looked stunned. She then passed by him and pondered that he was really handsome. Adrian clenched his fist while smiling at Rosnia. People gossiped that, speaking of which, it's about time to marry for both the Tower Lord and his sister. Someone told the Duke that everyone was too busy obsessing over the tower. The Hills have no titles, just a family swinging power around crudely. That man pondered that it seems the Hill family irked the Duke. He mentioned that the lady, pretty and kind-looking, fooled everyone, but she was still a Hill Mage, so how could one expect moral and class from them? The Duke with aggression told the man to shut his mouth. The Duke left the banquet. He started collecting jewelries, which the butler thought was very weird of him, thinking that he was half out of his mind, and that wasn't even the weirdest part. Why was he reading dessert recipe books? The butler thought maybe life had gotten so boring. Then came May. Rosnia's summer flower was off course, the lilac, until roses of an uncanny hue invaded like uninvited guests. He pondered that the more he thought about it, the more he wanted to see her, thinking about how he could meet her. The butler was shocked as the Duke was so frustrated that damned Adrian Hill kept ignoring his letter. The butler was taken aback, asking who was ignoring the letters. The Duke was frustrated that there was no way to deliver a letter directly to Rosnia. The Duke asked the butler if the Tower Lord was imprisoning his own sister. The butler was too confused as to what was happening to the Duke. He asked the butler for advice too, stating that he was clever. The Duke knew he was an idiot, as back then at the banquet he was too flustered. Had he known he'd have spoken to her, he then thought he should have just kidnapped her. The butler pondered that the Duke has lost it. Later, through sheer obsession, he finally found a way to meet Rosnia. The problem was, kids calls out to him saying that dog is huge, wondering if it's rather a wolf. Even people wondered why was it alone, as it looked like someone's pet. They wondered if it was a mage's dog. The real issue is it's not human. He jumped through the walls into the Hill house. He knew Rosnia vacations here every summer. He thought if his guess was right, why didn't he return sooner? Why did he try so hard to forget that feeling it was always going to end like this? He looked around wondering, where is she? Did she not come? He looked everywhere and began to be sad as he wondered if he wouldn't see her ever again. Right then Rosnia noticed the dog and thought, why was a dog here? She started to come near him as he suddenly laid down, showing her his belly. He then wondered, what has he done? She started laughing and stated he was a gentle one, wasn't he? She rubbed his belly and told him it was warm and soft, if only he could feel this touch every day. He thought he'd rather be fine living as a dog forever. She asked him if the dog was open or if there was a hole in the fence. He was busy thinking that he can't become her lover or her fiancé or anything because a dog is just a dog. He wondered if he should transform into a human and reveal his identity. But then was worried about her getting scared and running away. Even though he was in the form of a dog, if they gradually get closer like this, then when he would reveal his identity later, maybe she'd be less resistant. He thought maybe it was okay to kiss her face, just one, because he was just a dog, but then realized it was too shameful of an act to do even for a dog. Suddenly Adrian called out to her and asked her what was with this dog. Rosnia asked him if he wasn't cute. She told him that she found him in the garden. She told him that there must be a hole in the fence. Rosnia asked Adrian if he brought the dog in any case. Adrian asked her since when has he kept a dumb beast that can't even talk by his side. The Duke felt too annoyed but Rosnia told Adrian that divine beasts cannot talk either. He responded that was divine beast and this was a dog. The Duke wondered if Adrian figured it out that he was a person and not a dog. He realized he had to get out of here as it'll be a problem if he gets caught in the Hill family's villa. He started running away while cursing Adrian. Adrian noticed him and was about to attack him but Rosnia asked him to stop. He noticed divine power and stated that insolent thing didn't know its place. The Duke left the place and turned back into his original form. He remembered that Adrian called her Rose as her nickname. After that, time passed steadily and 4 years went by. Perhaps because Adrian's watch over her grew tighter, she seemed to have vanished without a trace. Because he couldn't see her for even once in 4 years, he steadily went mad. He realized at this rate if he can't see her forever he might just die. His hatred grew for Adrian and he wrote countless letters. He sent countless formal marriage proposals, but what he got in return was a letter from Adrian stating that if he wanted to show up to the wedding as a corpse then he could go ahead and keep saying he wants to marry his sister. That letter was the first and the last. The Duke thought she probably didn't even know he existed. He wondered if he ever for so long desired someone so strongly. He was then informed Rosnia would be staying at a villa. He was told that Adrian was heading to the southern sea to investigate demonic beasts. Even his attendant knew if this would go on the Duke really would lose his mind. He told the Duke that the princess will probably be staying at the Hill family's villa. He became joyful thinking this was finally it and he could finally meet her. He wondered how much she had grown in these 4 years and how much more beautiful she had become. He called her his rose garden. It rained heavily while he laid on the ground, finding it strange as he recalled until he was 25 his master said they could suppress his power surges, so why now? He wondered of all this time this had to happen. He wondered if he was going to die without even getting to meet her. Rosnia noticed him and in that moment he knew she has come, his destiny. In the present, she wakes up and notices a sweet fragrant scent. The Duke asks her if she is awake. She asks him when did he wake up and what time is it. He responds that it's 9:45 in the morning. He steps closer to her as she asks him to not come closer. He asks her why is it. She embarrassingly tells him it's because she is only wearing a slip. He then asks her how about they just spend the entire day without clothes. They could get used to each other's bodies that way. She is totally shocked and asks him if he is trying to kill her with embarrassment. He questions if she is embarrassed. She responds of course she is. He laughs and states that makes it sound like an ever better idea. She wonders what is he even talking about. He asks her to excuse him for a moment and picks her. He kisses her neck as she asks him to wait. She asks him why wait. She notices the flowers and becomes happy that they're ready and tells him that this aroma always puts him in a good mood. He asks her if that is the case. He stares at her, to which she asks him why is he staring at her like that. He tells him it's because she is beautiful. She responds with a face like his he doesn't have to. He starts kissing her obsessively. He ponders that just like this she'll continue to know nothing, thinking of her as the good and righteous Duke Rajan. He knows if she really were to know who he really is she might try to run away. Later he asks her if the lemon water is to her liking. She tells him it's lovely. She wonders if cooking is one of his hobbies. She drinks it and doubts many people have ever seen this. She asks him if he doesn't plant any other flowers in the garden. He mentions that this garden was decorated according to his mother's taste. He mentions that she must be speaking of Sir Ilunia. She asks him if he knows her. He responds of course he knows. Even before she became a magic swordswoman she was one of the most famous knights in the entire empire. She thinks that he knows her mother. She knows that her mother was a brilliant knight, but that was long time ago. After she got married and switched to being a magic swordswoman, she earned quite a notorious reputation. From what she remembers, mother was rough around the edges, but she was not a bad person. She was always a sweet mother to her and Adrian, though she did like to play pranks sometimes, like dressing Adrian as a girl. For some reason she misses her and wonders if she's still alive. If she is, then she wonders where could she be and what might she be doing right now. The Duke tells her that actually his master is Sir Ilunia's own brother. Rosnia ponders that her mother always said she was the illegitimate child of some noble. She wonders if she has a brother and is he Llewellyn's master. She asks the Duke if he happens to know his name. She's asking about his master's name. He tells her his name is Enrique Roberts and he is the younger brother of Marquez Roberts. She's totally shocked as on the continent of Eds, if the Hills are the most renowned family of mages, then the Roberts family is a legendary line of masters swordsmen producing only the finest knights. The main difference between the two is that House Roberts is loyal to the imperial family, while the Hills are not. The Hills were filthy to no one. Since the founder of House Hill was a member of the imperial family. Some say they are not true nobles, but by bloodline they are. She knows her mother was an illegitimate child of the Roberts family, so that is why she hid her origins. For the notoriously strict head of House Roberts to have an illegitimate child, she knows something scandalous must have happened. She wonders how was her mother born. Did she spend her childhood with the Roberts family? The Duke asks her if she's all right. She responds that she's okay, she was just thinking about her mother for a moment. He tells her it has already been well over 15 years since Sir Luna went missing. She tells him that she's aware of fate, her father is still searching for her, but she just does not know if they will ever finally find her. She starts to run away as he asks her where is she going. She tells him to come this way. She starts to run away as he asks her where is she going. She tells him to come this way. She asks him if his master taught him magic. He mentions that they prefer to call him a sage. He is both a mage and a knight. But she finds herself thinking, is not that just a magic swordsman? She wonders if the family hate titles like mage or magic swordsman. This family is so strange. She then realizes she forgot that the Duke is also a part of this family. She also contemplates if he hates the Hills just like the rest of the Roseanne family. But she is aware that he is always so kind to her. She wonders if he could just be pretending to not hate her, thinking if he had some other motives. She speaks up, saying she's one of the Hills too. Does he not hate her for it? And that concludes the video today. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want another part.